Yareli Prime is of course an upgrade to the normal one. The health is the same at 270, the shields has gone from 455 to 550, the armor's still 105 but the energy's 215 instead of 200, and 1.1 sprint speed. But here's one of the better things to do. If you are going the build route for her, there are tricks to save that extra bit of platinum. Because here's the thing, it will take 72 hours, that's 3 days, to put the frame together, but it only takes 12 hours to build the parts. That is each if you set all 3 of them off at the same time. Obviously it's a lot less time, and you do of course need the ever in the way argon crystals. Not that they're hard to get anymore, but it's just annoying because when you want them, you're pretty much guaranteed you're not going to have any. Apart from that, it's 3 neurodes, 2... I was going to say neural extract. Nitin extract, 3 neural sensors for the helmet. These parts aren't a huge pain to actually build, apart from the argon crystals. And quite literally just set off all the parts, let them build, set them off, overnight, in the morning, it'll be done. And then, of course, you just have to do 3 clicks, claim them all. Of course, it would move up there, wouldn't it? And you're ready to set her off for the 3-day build. Or you can rush her for the 50 platinum it will take to actually rush her. Rather than spending the platinum on rushing the single parts, keep a hold of it. Spend it on saving 3 days building the actual Yareli Prime. And as bubbly as Yareli is, her Prime is pretty much exactly the same. But looks like a axolotl with that head. She really does. But you can see the main difference is she's got 95 extra shields, 15 extra energy, and 0.1 sprint speed. Not to mention, of course, being a Prime, she will have extra polarities. So now comes with a V, a D, and a dash. But her abilities work exactly the same as they did before. Sea Snares forms 5 water globules that pick up enemies, how did they put it? Immobilizes them and damages them all at the same time. Enemies hit by them have increased damage from all sources. All sources. Not really sure why you're all the way over there though, that was just straight up weird. So, normal damage, what should we put this as? 70,000, also, why are you... There we go. Seriously doing a lot less damage than I thought you would be. And then just kind of use that to levitate some enemies, and they will take a lot more damage, depending on how you mod her. 1 million damage, I'll take it. Her second ability, Merulina, or whatever this thing is actually called, I've heard so many different pronunciations. The best way to put it is her K-Drive ability summons a rideable creature of the waves. Their words, not mine. And what this does is allows you to hardly be able to navigate corridors of most of the Warframe tile sets, but does protect Yareli by absorbing a large portion of incoming damage. About 14,550 damage to be exact. It's in the bottom right, and that's the health of it. Once that's gone, it goes, oh no, it's dead. And then Yareli will start to take increased amounts of damage. I should spawn some more enemies, but you know what? Let's take these out first with Aqua Blades that do exactly what it looks like they do. Very little to no damage. And I still love them because that was a level 230 enemy. And it looks like it's doing very little damage, but yeah. That's actually little damage a lot of times. And if I remember correctly, the description of this is quite literally just tear through foes with a trio of orbiting Aqua Blades that do... I'm now doing twice the damage they did before, and they're still doing fairly little damage, at least damaging numbers, don't let them fool you. You can see why people say she kinda sucks. You may be wondering why we're using a more close quarters area. to demonstrate this, because her fourth ability, Riptide, it's basically just like Vauban's ability to vortex and pull everybody into it. And the way that this works is actually quite great. Let me just go to the stand here for no apparent reason. Enemies that are dragged into this maelstrom, they kind of get blown away when it expires, like so, taking more damage, and each enemy trapped inside of it will increase the vortex's damage. The burst damage is what it actually says, which is also kind of weird, but again, it doesn't really look like they're taking that much damage in there, does it? But yeah, that would be 19 out of 20, and I haven't fired a single round. All I did was stand by as we kind of went, you know what, you can go stand over there inside of that for a bit, because less damage until it goes pop. And it does do a nice amount of damage as long as you can have a lot of people inside of it. Otherwise, yeah, not so much, and you're probably better off just wow, okay, I think this grenade has matters. Just stand with your back to us. Fine, we'll ensnare you instead. Thank you. And you're gone. Yareli's abilities, it's only her second ability I don't like. The rest of them do really, really well together for a lot of different missions. And that's only by basically increasing her strength, range, and duration. Efficiency can work really well, but that is basically just for casting speed. And yet again, zero use of the Archon shards, which will of course take her 194% power strength up to like 214%. Yeah, she's good enough there. But use them if you want a really strong Yareli. I of course did this using the Umbral Vitality, Umbral Intensify, Augur Secrets, and Power Drift. That's it. Apart from that, it was basically Prime Continuity for duration, Augur Reach for range, Augur Message for duration. I don't know why I put Primed Redirection in there. I think it's just simply because there was a depolarity and I didn't want to take it off, and I wanted to get as good of a build in here as I could possibly put in here with as minimal format as possible after forming a universal slot into the aura slot, which at this point is basically a must. Why? Oh, because it's not maxed. My bad. Because that allows you to swap out any aura you have for basically any mod you would like to fit in there, and it will always match perfectly. That being said, people still turn around and say use of the Augur mods is not the best way to go with this, but 194% power strength without have to sacrificing anything when it comes to using the I'm trying to remember the name of the actual mod, Transient Fortitude, which takes away from ability duration, or Rage, that converts 40% of damage on health into energy. Yeah, these things can be fairly useful. If you haven't already built Umbra Excalibur, or Excalibur Umbra, depending on how you want to do that, and don't have access to Umbral Intensify and Umbral Vitality. To be fair, Primed Redirection, format that off, put whatever you want in there. That's only in there because I didn't want to get rid of the depolarity. I will give it to you. Primed Redirection on this, complete waste of time. But that Umbral Intensify was plus 55 if you put all of them in there, that being of course Umbral Fiber as well, to increase her armor from 105 to 294. Yeah, it will actually give more ability strength, so if you want to and you want to spend Umbra Forma, you could possibly put that down there where the depolarity is and run all three of them. Yeah, I'll take the 55% and have 194. That's what Archon shards are for. I'm just not willing to use them yet. I will eventually, but not right now. They're all in use in other frames. And by that I do mean my Tau Forged ones, which I do want to put on her, but I've got to take them off a different frame first. I'll get there eventually, because she is well worth actually putting those on, because all her abilities work really well together. She is basically a bubbly, bouncy frame that is more fun than anything else you would actually like to do with her. So, Augur Reach, Augur Secrets, Augur Message, hell yeah. I would even go as far as saying, unless you really like Yareli, wouldn't even bother with the Umbra former and just put 3 more dash polarities in here and save the Umbra former. I did it to save time more than anything else. But if you do use her all the time, she is well worth the actual work and everything else just to get her as an amazing little frame for running around destroying anything that comes near you, which is kind of what she was useful for to begin with. She's just been primed, so she is slightly better, but remember, it just means she survives more, she can run a bit faster. Everything else about her is pretty much exactly the same. She's Yareli, with more survivability and a quicker sprint speed, and don't think I didn't notice the fact that I actually done that and still haven't gone back and given Frost his. Rhino got it, Saren got it, Frost Prime is still waiting for his sprint buff. But she is basically just normal Yareli, better. But when it comes down to the biggest thing that makes her worth actually building, other than mastery points, because let's be honest, at a certain point we're all just building the primes for the mastery points. The compressor was a good weapon. The Daiku was a damn good weapon. And Yareli was just a fun frame to run around with that nobody thought the Digital Extreme would actually prime, because of how much hate she received when she was launched. But they did, and she's out, and she's actually still a ton of fun. She was originally, she still is. She just looks 30 times better than she did before. And that's the biggest reason to get the Prime version. She looks so much better. The increased sprint speed and everything that comes with that is kind of a side bonus too. She looks so much better. Ignoring her K drive simply down to the fact that it's the one ability I would actually take off her in the Helminth just to get rid of that K drive that is not usable when you're in tight corridors. Though if you are about to die, if you pull that out, it does save your life, hence I've never actually taken it off, but ooh, been tempted a few times. But Yareli Prime, she's not an amazingly useful frame for higher end stuff, but she can still hold her own. She was just taking out level 230s. So people who say she can't, kind of prove them wrong. And with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.